Hello and welcome to the No One Asked You podcast. Kita and I are doing a bonus death rattle segment.
Wee!
Yes. See, as we were figuring out how this series would take shape, we realized that we didn't really discuss the death rattles in the early chapters. So I thought Kita and I would have a discussion about the death rattles in the early chapters, just so you can get some of our thoughts. Up to this point, Kita and I have read chapter 7 and not beyond that. But to my recollection, we do discuss the death rattles in chapters 6 and 7. So I think we'll be covering the prelude, prologue, and 1 through 5. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great. Let's start with the first one. So it appears that there is no death rattle for the prelude.
For the because now, hold on.
But there is one for the prologue.
Yeah.
Prologue. To kill.
The love of men is a frigid thing. A mountain stream only 3 steps from the ice. We are his, O Stormfather, we are his. It is but 1,000 days, and the Everstorm comes.
Collected on the first day of the week Paula of the month Shosh of the year 1171, 31 seconds before death. Subject was a dark-eyed pregnant woman of middle years. The child did not survive.
Damn.
Yes. So, pretending I don't have knowledge of chapters 1 through 7,
Mm-hmm.
I paid attention to the word Everstorm. The Everstorm comes. Mm-hmm. We know that this is 4,500 years later. We presume that whatever the 10 Heralds didn't do was not permanent. So I presume that the Everstorm is essentially what they are calling the Desolation now. What do you think?
Yeah, it's that Desolation coming back. There has been later on something called the Final Desolation, but the Everstorm and the Desolation seem to be the same thing in my opinion. And of course, I remember when we first read this, Stormfather was another thing that I was getting used to. And again, what I would just like to reiterate for the death rattle things is we didn't know they were called death rattles at this point. And one of my reactions was, okay, they're collected before death. So I was wondering how the hell that is. And I think another comment that we made was just who's collecting them? Are there these sort of clerics that are going around? That are going around, and I don't know. I think maybe the theory was, just there's death spren or something like that that tell you the last few thoughts of a person before they die. So that was our first exposure of it, and it's like collecting data because the subject was a dark-eyed pregnant woman. We don't have the name, nothing. It's that it seems as if they have come across these people that are dead and collected the death rattle from them.
Yes.
It's not that they're like rushed to the scene and we're out there. So I don't know. Yeah, how this works. That was my first reaction is how are the death rattles working? But they are serving as our epigraphs. So I suppose going forward we can try and relate them to the contents of the chapter if we can, just thematically. But they are also telling us something about what's going on in the rest of this world.
Yes, and it is but 1,000 days. Is that a sort of ticking time bomb, do you think? Like, is something going to happen 1,000 days from the time of, until the Everstorm hits?
Yeah, it is but 1,000 days and the Everstorm comes.
Yeah, because again, with our future knowledge up to chapter 7, we know that there's an 8-month gap. We know that there are death rattles up to the year 1173. Now, we don't know how many days a year cycle is in this world.
True.
But if that would, about 3 years would come close to 1,000 days, right? If not surpassing it, yeah?
That makes sense. That's a good theory. We don't know what 1,000 days actually, what that counts as, how the years work here. So it would be silly for us to just decide that they're 365. And Also, my question is, who do they belong to? Because she says, "Oh, Stormfather, we are his." You would think, Stormfather, we are yours. So like, I'm going to you, Stormfather, because that's like, because remember, I remember it was going, what is the Almighty, the Stormfather? Are they the same thing? So we are his. Who possesses you? Death? Because she's, yeah.
And also, this very much seems like a prayer, like she is saying a prayer.
Yeah, she knows that she's going to die.
That said, I don't think I have too much more to say on that first death rattle. You've killed me! Bastards, you've killed me! While the sun is still hot, I die. Collected on the 5th day of the week, Chach of the month Betab of the year 1171, 10 seconds before death. Subject was a dark-eyed soldier, 31 years of age. Sample is considered questionable. So, someone here is taking samples. Sample invokes testing or experimentation or something to that effect. I do remember the "you've killed me" line building into this theme of survival that has been building since the beginning.
Yeah. Death. Also, sorry, just practicality-wise, just to bring up of the week Chach of the month Betab. How the hell does this whole system work? So the weeks is Chach a number? Because we had Shash in the previous one. So I would like to know how the weeks and days and whatever work in this, because we've got the first day of the week Pala of the month Shash. So weeks have names. Is there a week Pala in Betab or whatever this month is called?
I don't know, but now that you actually address that, I really do appreciate that as a world-building element. The weeks have names. I mean, months have names, days have names. Why wouldn't weeks? That's really cool. Well done.
Yeah, because we've got the 5th day, so that's a number. We've got the number of the week Chach, which again, what is it? Because I got lots of moons, yeah. So maybe it's something like that. I don't know. Complicated timetable. I would not do well. Yeah, and we've got the sample is considered questionable. Well, how do you get a questionable sample? Well, it seems accurate. It seems just as death rattly as anything else.
Yep.
And he's a soldier, so that's what a soldier would be saying when he dies. While the sun is still hot, I die. Like,
a bit melodramatic, but hey, you're dying. You can have melodrama.
Yes. And up until now, we've got dark eyes only in the death rattles. So that's also what the story has done.
On to the next one?
Yeah, let's see what the next one has in store for us.
Chapter 2, Honor is Dead.
10 orders. We were loved once. Why have you forsaken us, Almighty? Shard of my soul, where have you gone?
Collected on the 2nd day of Kakash, year 1171, 5 seconds before death. Subject was a light-eyed woman in her 3rd decade. So I remember thinking specifically here, 10 orders, 10 heralds. There were the radiants. This must be a radiant. And she's light-eyed, so, she's privileged. So if anyone could be a radiant, it would be more likely to be a light-eyed person than a dark-eyed, right?
I don't know, because I'm trying to think of Seth, whether he was I don't know whether we got his eye colors.
Well, he was Parshendi, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think he was a radiant. He was a storm lightning sorcerer guy. I don't think he was specifically what was characterized as radiance in the prelude.
So what makes you think she's a radiant?
10 orders. Well, there were 10 heralds. Maybe there was an order per herald. They each had their own squad or something, is kind of what I was wondering.
Yeah, 10 orders. We were loved once. Yeah, so the radiants were also loved once. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got this 5 seconds before death. Also, we've got 2nd day of Kakash. We don't have a
week of.
Is that the week? We don't have any, like, how do your times work? But
At this point, I would assume.
Yeah. Is Kakash, because it says the 2nd day of Kakash would be the 2nd day of the whole month, I suppose, would be, if Kakash is a month, it would just be the 2nd day of that month. You don't have to say it's the first week.
On to chapter 3.
Oh, also, we're still in the year 1171.
Yes.
So we've had 1171 the whole way through. First light eyes over there. Okay.
Yes. City of Bells. A man stood on a cliffside and watched his homeland fall into dust. The waters surged beneath, so far beneath, and he heard a child crying. They were his own tears. Collected on the 4th of Tanatus, year 1171, 30 seconds before death. Subject was a cobbler of some renown.
Right. So now we have no eye color. Someone of renown, I suppose. Cobbler, I don't know, wouldn't be a light eyes, I don't think, or would be a lesser light eyes.
I remember thinking that there was an attempt at poetry in this death rattle. I don't necessarily think on Sanderson's attempt, but I mean from the person dying. He was attempting some sort of poem regarding his own tears and childhood and so on.
Why? Yeah, because it's phrased as if it's being written about someone else. He, this, that. The rest are like just the last bits. They're immediate. They're like, I'm what I'm thinking at that time. This is like, there is. I think my initial thing was, a man stood on a cliffside and watched his homeland fall into dust. So I was thinking that this is what the guy did, and there's no words in this death rattle. It's actually what was perceived by the person taking the sample, because he wasn't saying anything, because the thoughts might have been, wordless, whatever. So it's actually just giving images of what the person has seen. I think that was my first experience of it. But now that I look at it the way you have, I'm like, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. This person was thinking up a poem, basically. That was their last verbal thoughts.
Yeah.
Because if it was a like supposed to be describing what the person is seeing, it would be subject stood on a cliffside and watched his homeland fall, or watched the home. That's what it would be if it was describing what the person had seen. This is definitely like a sort of poetry thing, an attempt at, it's like what a writer would be saying. And then they died 30 seconds before death and was a cobbler.
Edgar Allan Poe's final words.
They were his own tears.
Chapter 4?
Let's go.
I'm dying, aren't I? Healer, why do you take my blood? Who is that beside you, with his head of lines? I can see a distant sun, dark and cold, shining in a black sky. Collected on the 3rd of Jesnon, 1172, 11 seconds pre-death. Subject was a Reshi Chul trainer. Sample is of particular note. Now, I do believe for this chapisode, I put in an editor Dorkus comment about this specific epigraph. I think the reason it is of particular note is because the person dying seems to see something, and I suspect what he sees is connected either to the Voidbringers or to the desolation.
Yeah, that I what's the name? Highlighted sample is of particular note, but I just didn't know what made it of particular note. So I'm understanding what you mean here, because who is this? Who is beside you with his head of lines? What would have head of lines? And healer, why do you take my blood? So healer taking the blood. Is that how you get a death rattle as well? But I don't know.
Well, we do know samples taken, so maybe there's some experimentation. Maybe there's some bloodborne level stuff going on here.
Yeah, so maybe the person taking the sample, because it's saying 11 seconds pre-death. Like that means somebody has to be there before the death, or whatever they're recording captures it can tell you a certain time before death. It makes me think of the Wild West movie where they Wild West, where they've got that theory that you can get a person's last vision by basically putting light through their eyes and whatever. That's kind of what's going on here. I just need to know the mechanics of this. I don't understand how it's done and who it's done by. So, yeah, the only thing we can do is just continue with the mystery. That's what Sanderson likes to do with his epigraph bits.
Yeah.
Just drop. And also, this is the first one that is in the year 1172.
Yes.
And again, just another thing to note is this is another one without a weak name. So, interesting.
Chapter 5?
Mm-hmm.
Heretic. I have seen the end and have heard it named. The night of sorrows, the true desolation, the Everstorm. Collected on the 1st of Nanez, 1172, 15 seconds pre-death. Subject was a dark-eyed youth of unknown origin. So it sounds like here, confirmation from the first, that the Everstorm is essentially the desolation. The true desolation.
Yeah, the true desolation. I was calling it the final desolation, but I don't think it's actually named that. It is the true desolation.
Mm-hmm.
Capital T. So that is like the last one, and the Everstorm. So yeah, we have that confirmed. They are the same thing. I've seen the end and have heard it named. What did you see? What are they seeing? Because we have some of that in the other death rattles, like from the light-eyed woman. It's kind of like they see the Everstorm coming. So what are they seeing? Is there something actually happening that is taking them, or do they have visions or something like that? This world is so colorful and wild, and it's so rich that you could have a vision, or you could have, I don't know, a vision spreading or something like that doing that. So it's so open to interpretation at the moment.
Yeah, there's still it's so hard for me to have a concept of the importance of all of these because I'm still learning so much. There's just so little information.
Yeah.
With the Mistborn epigraphs, we know right away who the person is supposed to be, or what have you. We know. I feel like there's more intuitive knowledge with the epigraphs in Mistborn than there are here. There's a lot more mystery, which is great.
Not begrudging that.
Yeah.
Because there's so much information that is put into it. Because it's giving you the number of seconds, it's giving you when it's happening. So it's not just what the death rattle says; it's when it was that you've got to pay attention to try and glean information. So, I mean, that's why we started talking about them in the next chapter, because we got a map that was circa 1173.
Yes. Well, let's do chapter 6 then, and then have this. Yeah. Chapter 6, Bridge 4.
I'm cold, Mother. I'm cold, Mother. Why can I still hear the rain? Will it stop?
Collected on Veveshes, 1172. 30 seconds pre-death. Subject was a light-eyed female child, approximately 6 years old. I mean, first off, dark. But to what you were saying before I cut you off. So this was the chapter, and we do discuss it in the chapisode, that the charcoal rubbing of Sadeas's war camp was taken in 1173, and all of the death rattles thus far have happened in 1171 and 1172, which would be, if we presume that 1173 is the Kaladin timeline, the death rattles would have happened in between the 5-year gap between the death or assassination rather of King Gavilar and what we are reading.
Yeah, that's what is a possibility. But what's the other possibility, that this is years, these death rattles? Do we have any reference to what year it is now in the chapters?
I think the closest thing is that Sadeas war camp captain.
Yeah, because what if that is just a historical artifact and we've got circa? I mean, we don't have we've got the exact things on the seconds and days and whatever on the death rattles, but then we've just got circa here for the rubbing thing, where it could be an artifact. So these could be things that happened after what we're reading now.
True. Wait, maybe? Yeah, perhaps.
Isn't it a possibility? Because this could be as things got worse. This could be, or it could be in the future.
Or no, it could be a different Sadeas's war camp, but I'm kind of skeptical of that, to be honest. I think the first option is likely, but it could be.
Yeah.
I think I'd have to sit with your supposition a bit longer, which I intend to do.
Yeah, so just think about when our story is happening. We need more confirmation of the year that it is for them.
Yeah.
for us to be able to understand a bit more about our epigraph death rattles, because we've got the only thing anchoring us so far, unless we're wrong, the only thing anchoring us to any time so far is 1173 and that map, because that is given to us when he arrives at that camp. So that makes us think, okay, this is where Kaladin is right now. But for me, my question is this just a historic thing that happened after, or is it the current year? So thanks for all the complication.
Indeed.
You thought I was frustrated with Mistborn epigraphs?
Well, try these on for size.
Yes.
I think that's all I've got for those death rattles.
Mm-hmm.
Thus ends the bonus segment.
Indeed.
Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.